Can you come in?
My name is Baba Shua Chris Oluwafumilola Okunowo.
Yes, we believe you do organize a community hymn singing. So how do you come about that? Yes. What is your inspiration?
Well, let's put it this way. There were a couple of things that came about to a head about the same time back in the day, 18 years ago. I was, first is that I've always enjoyed church music. I love music generally, but more particularly church music. And it was also obvious that the appreciation of the regular church music by generality of people was waning because of the Pentecostal style or type of worship that was rather prevalent at that time. And I have always loved the Orthodox Church, as it were. And so for me, it was, for me and my family, it was a function of, look, why don't you promote something that will bring us back to the, the Orthodox mode of worship and the hymns and what have you, and organ music. Second was the fact that at that point in time, one also needed to appreciate God's grace, in one's life, particularly with the vicissitudes of life and changing scenes, and the fact that one were happy and alive and well. So a form of thanksgiving, also became important to celebrate Thanksgiving for the outgoing year at that time. So, in effect, all these things came together. And I also then realized, too, that our church, that is the African Church at Cathedral Choir, needed, to my belief, needed support. And we needed to highlight some of the things that they are doing. But as you know, church worship is about the word and the music. And if we're able to match the two, then perhaps the attendance in our church services and the fact that a lot of people who had gone AWOL, that is gone to other churches, be it Pentecostal or whatever, chances are that they will come back when they appreciate the music that was being produced in church. So all this sort of came together, and we thought, okay, all right, so what to do is, at the beginning of Advent of every year, we should organize a Thanksgiving service, an appreciation of church music, and appreciation and of God's goodness in the outgoing year, so that we can get prepared for the coming of the Lord Jesus, at Christmas time. So, and that's how we started, in a very small way. But then it's humbling that 18 years on, it still attracts so much, influence and acceptability in Lagos State particularly, or indeed over Nigeria, because I have lots of friends who come round from time to time to join us in worship. I've had a lot of our friends have participated in the Thanksgiving service. At the beginning also, because at that point in time, Advent used to be sometime early in December. This year is probably the first time in a very long while that Advent is starting in about a few days' time. So a lot of people also felt that it was probably being held because of my birthday, which usually falls around that period. In fact, at one time it fell on that particular Advent Sunday. So, in effect, it's basically for me and my wife and my kids and my entire family a season of Advent, a season of Thanksgiving, a season of appreciating music, a season of appreciating our choir, that is the Cathedral Choir, and generally to just thank God for His many mercies.
Thank you, sir. Considering this year, it has been a challenging year all the while. So I want you to just express your expectation, towards this year's edition.
Well, look, why would you not expect appreciation of God's work of faithfulness? We all started out in January very excited, very hopeful, very challenged to take on the new year. Nobody expected COVID to become so devastating as it has. And so, really, what else can you do? God has showed His faithfulness. God has showed His mightiness. God has showed that no one can do anything without Him. So this year is particularly auspicious because of the devastating effect of COVID, or the scourge, the pandemic, we call it. One should not be expectant of anything. The most important thing is just to be alive and well. And a number of people who have since passed on as a result of this pandemic. But we're alive, we're here. It's not that we are better than they were, or they are, or they were. It's because of God's faithfulness and mercy. I mean, I had a whiff of it myself. I didn't realize it was anything either, but I paid attention to it when I felt it was something odd. And here am I, alive today. So this year's edition is also to give thanks, more thanks to God for survivals thus far. I've invited a few of my friends, like I normally do, a few personalities in the country, to come and share the joy with us and to come and express themselves as well. What we do is that if any of the people or the guests we have this year, as I think we did that also last year, they choose a hymn and they come and tell us in church how that hymn has inspired them, and they discuss it, they talk about it, and they tell us about their hopes, their expectations for the new year. So I also this year have invited all my classmates at Wiebe College, the set of 1966 to 1968, and I'm hopeful that they will come. I mean, most of us are over 70 now, and so sometimes they are very worried about going to large gatherings. But I'm sure they would show up, and it's expected that we would also get together. We haven't seen each other since the beginning of this pandemic, but we're hoping that this will also bring all of us together. We lost a few of our members in the course of the year to the pandemic. So for those of us who are here in Nigeria, and hopefully those who are abroad, will be able to watch the program on YouTube or on Zoom, in the course of this service. So again, it's a way of just thanking God for being alive.
Would you like to just say some words of welcome as many people?
Well, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's another year, 2020, and things have been what they are so far. The scourge has come, and the scourge is real, and people are losing their lives. It's not because we are better than the people who have passed on. It's just the sheer grace of God. Our God remains very faithful and merciful, and we need to give thanksgiving on a regular basis. It's not the amount of money that you make that will make you safe. No. You should not even be worried about making anything or making profit or what have you. The most important thing for 2020 is to be alive. And when we are alive, next year, God willing, will be a better year for all of us. So my basic greetings or my basic welcome is that I thank God for my life, my family's life. I thank God for my friends. I thank God for my family, for my church members, African church, and indeed African church all over the world. I thank God for our primate. Okay, His Eminence, J.O. Abe, and of course my provost, Venerable Ologun, and for all the members of our church on this day. I wish them a very Merry Christmas and a very happy and prosperous New Year. And I pray that we shall all survive. God will be there. Will give us the grace to spend many more years together in this life. That's my prayer. And that everyone in every nook and corner of the world where they may be reaching out or hearing this message would know that God is faithful and very merciful. And there's not much we really can do without Him. With Him, nothing is indeed impossible. So, here we are, 2020, another Advent. Well, I wish you all a Merry Christmas. And you also know that during the service, we usually light the Christmas tree, which is a symbolic way of welcoming Advent. And then, of course, that Christmas tree is lit right through the Yuletide season. And of course, after the Christmas, actually the Yuletide they will put off the lights and then put it on again next year at the next Advent, God willing. Thank you.